Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And I'm
Roast.
Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our From Season 4, Episode 8 reaction and review. I think this episode is really interesting, and I'm coming
Mm.
into this with the place of it's okay sometimes if we don't get all the answers,
Hmm.
provided that the questions the show is raising are interesting. And I,
Hmm.
I think there's a lot to sort of chew on with this episode in regards to dreams, reality, and then also this concept of even if you know deep down that this dream is not real, is that so much more preferable than the actual reality that you're going to choose to accept it anyway?
Yeah, and I mean, I know that this is from, so reality is distorted,
Mhm.
but I still feel like this is a really relatable story because there's a lot of people out there that live in their heads. I'm one of those people. I'll think myself to death, and sometimes fantasy world is where people want to live.
Yeah, and this is something that has been expressed over the years in a lot of interesting
Yep.
ways on television. Like there's a Black Mirror episode titled Hotel Reverie that really played on a lot of these concepts. And this is all being reflected in a really big way with Henry in this episode.
Yep.
And all of that I think is pretty compelling. And that's without even getting into this bizarre, interesting relationship that is unfolding between Tabitha and the man in yellow, where from they already have some of the people who worked on Lost on this show. A
Yep.
lot of you guys probably remember the big man in black, man in white episode close to the end of that show's run.
Yep.
I'm starting to feel like we might be getting something similar here in the upcoming fifth and final season. I'm not trying to be
Whoa.
like, okay, you guys need to reheat all of Lost's nachos or anything, but I just feel like these nachos could be pretty good if they decide to do
No,
this.
I agree. I had felt more that it was the man in yellow just taunting her, being like, "You and I have danced this dance so many times. You've been reincarnated and been here so many times. And every time you get a little bit closer, but now you are like right on my heels. Or are you?" Just the taunting of it all.
Yeah, it's just like, what's going on with these two? Like, is there something compelling enough for us to
Yeah.
sink our teeth into for, even if it's just half an episode, not a full episode, given that we know season 5 is the final one, so we're not
Yeah.
operating with the same amount of real estate here that we were with Lost.
Okay, before we dive any deeper into this, be sure to join our YouTube memberships.
Mhm.
It really helps Matt and I here at the channel and on our YouTube memberships. We have all kinds of exclusive content. We're going to be covering the second season of Sugar exclusively there
Yes.
for our members. And we have more from content there as well, more from videos if you're interested in that. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you as well to our sponsor, Oxnet Clothing. Now, this
Mhm.
is a company that Jess first brought to my attention, and they make these really
Yeah.
awesome, incredible retro inspired clothing. Jess and
Yeah.
I are both wearing Oxnet in this video. They're fun, they're bold, they're colorful. They
Yeah.
really represent this bygone era that a lot of us love so
Hmm.
much. And you can get 15% off Oxnet clothing with a link that we have in our description, as well as the code Matt and Jess TV. Thank you so much to Oxnet for sponsoring this video.
And thank you to so many of you that
Mhm.
have gone over and purchased Oxnit. We've been getting all of your responses
Yeah.
and sharing your pictures with us of all the clothing that you've gotten and how much you guys have been liking it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Like I really enjoy them. They're
Yeah,
so comfortable, let alone they
I
look
know.
really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get back into Henry because
Yeah.
this is a dark and twisted storyline, but also really interesting. I think
Mhm.
after seeing the version of Victor who we've had in this town over the past 4 seasons,
Mhm.
I can understand why Henry would find this other version of Victor, which feels like a completely, totally different actor, let alone a different version of the character. Like, I get why he would find all of this so alluring, like, regardless of whether or not he wants to believe it.
Of course. I mean, having Henry first meet Victor in the state that he is, where he is a grown man, but his mind is broken, still that of a child. I mean, as a parent, that has got to be heartbreaking on so many levels, knowing that you weren't able to be there for them. And this is what has happened to your child, now a grown man. So going into this fantasy world
Mhm.
where Victor's in a suit, he's doing really well, he's got a son, everything is okay. That's the world Henry wants to be in, and it makes sense. His son is doing well.
And from what we understand now about Man in Yellow slash Sophia, one of the
Yeah.
driving goals here is that they want to facilitate, and I know no better way to put it, as many crash outs as humanly possible. And they
Mhm.
are sort of plucking a little bit of low hanging fruit here. I mean, we talked about it with Sarah and our frustrations with that storyline,
Yes.
how they're sort of replaying everything with her. But I think with Henry, they've recognized that this is someone who is going to feel regret in a way that's different than a lot of other people in the town, because Henry, not only has he had all this time without Miranda, without Victor, but
Mhm.
he has a living reminder in front of him of what this town has constantly done to Victor. And he is in this sadness, especially knowing everything that he knows now about the Man in Yellow. It is very easy for the Man in Yellow to sort of dive into his brain and sort of confuse him. And potentially, this is going to lead into a direction where it causes some major, major problems for everybody else.
Yeah, and seeing the comparisons in this episode to Abby, I
Mhm.
mean, I didn't think that we were going to be kind of coming around to that, but everything that Boyd has been going through, the hand out of the grave and the rings and seeing the picture and all of these things that he's been seeing in Acosta and trying to keep her mind busy, he hasn't noticed that over here, this is all happening to Henry in a way that I imagine happened exactly to Abby, where she was having these dreams. She said, "This is all a dream,"
Yeah.
kind of this is the way to get out. Nothing matters. It's all just a dream. It's not real. And in Henry's dream, he's now facing that same thing where you have the nurse basically being like, yeah, you have to stop this other world. And that's the only way you're going to be able to come back to this reality world. So make sure that you just take care of everything over there. She didn't explicitly say, you just got to kill
I
everybody,
know.
but she may as well have.
Yeah, and I think to me, the reason that this story works, even if it is sort of a repeat of sorts of everything with Abby, I like it versus them
I do too.
reheating everything with Sarah. And I think it's two different
Yes.
reasons. One, it's a different character. We already saw all this with Sarah. We haven't seen it directly with Henry.
And also the Sarah stuff just didn't go anywhere. Like
No,
she was just like, "Oh, I'm just playing with my food and I want to know that Sarah will dance when I say dance," and then nothing.
yeah, and the Abby stuff
Cool.
was in the past of the show, let
Yeah.
alone the present. This is something that's actively playing out. Boyd, because of all these distractions that are going on, and yes, there are a lot of distractions, like
Yes.
you addressed, he's not seeing the forest through the trees here. I
Mhm.
think the question then becomes, all right, one, is he going to figure this out? And two, if he does, is he going to make a different choice? Like, is the presence of all of these Abby visions a sign that we're building towards him making a different choice? Because if it's the same thing all over again, like, how bad would that be? How much tension would it cause between Victor and these other people? Victor wants a family so badly. He has this family, and then will Boyd's choices lead to that going away?
Yeah, I mean, we only have 2 episodes left. Is there enough time for Boyd, who is so focused on going into the caverns and going into the chamber and getting the bones and everything that's going on with Acosta and everything that's going on with his own mind?
Yeah.
He's not been spending really enough time with Henry to see the same signs at this point. It's a lot like what happened with Abby, where he was off doing other things and trying to find ways to save everybody, where Ellis was trying to say, "Hey, we need some help, we need some help, we need some help." And he was like, "Yeah, later, later, later." Except here, no one is really coming to him about Henry to say Henry needs some help. He's tried to help a little bit when he
Yeah.
saw him have a breakdown, but not enough. He is still not seeing the signs of what is happening. Is 2 episodes enough to wrap it up, or is this going to go into next season and this will be the big cliffhanger?
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough because I don't want to rush anything at this point. And this is, I think, the real irony with this season. We've all
Yeah.
had our criticisms at times with how slow it's been, the pacing, especially early on,
Mhm.
was a little out of whack. I actually do like a lot of the stories that we're getting right now and the places that we're in, but if they do rush them, it's gonna feel a lot like what were you guys doing? It's like the last season of The Boys where it was just sort of like the first five
Oh.
episodes were really, really slow, and then the last few, there was too much happening in too short of amount of time, and we were just like, why couldn't you have just spaced all of this out a little bit better?
Because they had the spin-off they needed to push, and that is not happening here. So I feel like they have enough time to be able to get through it.
Yeah.
If they maybe include next season, I'm not sure if this is going to connect all the way through
Yeah.
in 2 episodes where Boyd is going to be able to see what's happening with Henry. Henry's not really sharing even what's happening. Could we get to a situation at the end where Henry is trying to take out everybody in the town and Boyd's just too late again?
Let's just keep talking about Boyd because I think this episode really played all of the hits for us when it comes to Harold Perrineau performances. I think for starters, we have my favorite line of the entire season, which is landscaping is not a plan as he is shouting at Jade. I know it was dramatic, but it also really made me laugh. But I think he's running the emotional gamut because I think his denial of everything that's going on with Abby is really facilitating him not viewing Jade in this plan the right way. He's got too many things going on. He's tentative. He's afraid. He knows that all this weight is on his shoulders. And I think he is, in a way, just afraid of one wrong thing going. And then, the domino effect starts and then everything spirals out of control.
Boyd's not wrong. This isn't a plan. The plan can't be pull out the tree while they're already down there. I was actually surprised that was the plan at all, that it wasn't like, okay, during the day, the monsters are sleeping. So let's pull the tree out while they're not in the chamber. It's during the day. They're not awake. Let's get the tree out so that we can then already have the escape plan. Boyd is 1,000% right. Trying to pull that out at the last minute is just bad planning. It is landscaping.
Jade, let's just talk to Jade for a moment. What's wrong with you? Like really, how did you not think of everything Jess said? It's right there. You have all these other elements. It's just, why are you so intent? I understand it's a little bit of a race against time. You got to be careful and you got to do things before people realize it. Like, I more than understand that, but you need an escape plan. I don't know why you believed that Boyd would ever sign off on this. Hey, let's just dig up the tree, not knowing whether or not this theoretical information, and I know that Jade's got some evidence, but Boyd is the sheriff. I think when you're working in his position, you got to think a little bit in terms of facts here.
The other thing is, this is the bottle tree. And we've seen people go into the bottle tree and end up near the lighthouse. We've had people go through the bottle tree and end up in the pool, Rip Dale. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know if you pull out this tree that the hole underneath that people are going up and down in, if that is still part of this magic or not.
Oh, and this is the other thing, and we have told, I'm now talking like they're here, but it's like we've told you guys so many times that just because you find the children, it doesn't mean that poof, you're all out of the town.
Right.
Like, it does feel like, unless the man in yellow is lying and is messing with everybody's heads, like it does seem like it is actually key to something, that it's a step in the right direction, but there is a full other season here. This is not a straight line to the finish and then they're all better. Like, you have to think in terms of, we get in here, we free the children, and then we got to go somewhere else. Like, we can't find ourselves in a position where we're just trapped, Jade.
Yeah, Jade is not thinking it all the way through. That is fine. That is why Boyd is here. Boyd is the person to be like, we've got lives on the line here. We are possibly going to lose some people.
Yeah.
Let's try to do everything that we can to make sure that the loss of life is very minimal, if not none.
Let's also just give Boyd a small round of applause for actually telling somebody a little bit of what's going on with him rather than just keeping it to himself all the time.
It was interesting that he did tell Christy and then was basically like, just give me medication for it. And because they're in this spot where medications are running low, everything is running low. She mentioned this a couple episodes ago where she was just like, supplies aren't what they used to be, not quite as fruitful. For him to think that there would be something magically that happens to be there that's going to help him deal with these, why would the town ever provide something like that?
Well, yeah, that's everything around Christy. I'm just saying it now. Everything around Christy right now is the worst part of this episode. And I think a lot of it just generates based on that idea because there's also the concept of, all right, is the medication really going to work for this in the real world? Sure, but it's just, I don't buy into anything connecting directly to what's happening in this town. Like, this is a fantasy horror universe. Like, you can't bank on something. I know Boyd is probably just desperate, but I would
Yes.
not run the risk on some of this because you also don't know, is the medication in this world going to produce some sort of side effects? Like, anything could happen.
Yeah, there's no magic wizard medication that's going to make all this fixed. It is unfortunately something that Boyd is going to have to deal with. But you're right about the Christie part of this. Watching her go in and tell off her woman for giving a little bit of a different perspective to Fatima and what's going on, where
Yeah.
Fatima was like, oh, look at my stomach. It's marbling. There's some problems that are
Yes.
happening after I went through Smiley and I kind of saw what he saw. I was able to kind of control him a little bit. This is happening. And you've got her saying, listen, like, this could just be a side effect of that. That might not be something that's a brand new ailment that's happening. Let's wait and find out. And sure enough, she was right. You've got Fatima being like, yeah, it's gone. Okay, I'm in. If this is a way that I'm able to maybe control the situation and help the town out, I'm all the way in.
I think it's because we had that ominous Sophia warning at the start of this season that everybody's going to be turned against each other, that the
Yeah.
show is doing a little bit of fighting for the sake of fighting. I do not need to see Christy and Mariel argue about this. I also just feel like Fatima, she's a grown woman. She's going to make
Yes.
whatever decision she wants to make for herself for whatever the future of this town is.
Especially after everything she went through with the pregnancy,
Yeah.
giving birth, the Smiley, all of this. Like, what for her, it feels like she's like, what is the point of me having gone through all this if then I can't use the ability that I've gotten out of this to actually help anybody else?
Yeah, I hope they tone down a little bit of this Christy and Mario conflict. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't really
Right.
help the show. Like, relationships are key to this show, and it's
Yeah.
very strange that the relationship with the man in yellow and Tabitha at the end of the episode, despite us not even really knowing the relationship, is infinitely more compelling to me now. Because let's just sit back and assume, all right, man in yellow here, back in the man in yellow form, is telling the truth that he views Miranda and Christopher, whatever you want to call them, as the closest thing to friends that he really has. And he doesn't necessarily want to take them out. Does he just then want to perpetuate this cycle over and over again?
He's lying. That's my tinfoil
Okay.
hat. He's lying. Him being like, oh, I could kill you, but I won't. I'm like, no, no, I don't believe you. If you could kill Tabitha and Jade, the people that are getting the closest to actually solving
Yeah.
everything, you would. And you would right there take care of that. For whatever reason, you are unable to do this yourself. That to me is why Jade had that vision
Mm,
where he saw all the different versions of him. And none of them were killed by monsters, which feels like none of them were killed by the man in yellow, that they were all killed by the townspeople and other actual people. I don't think he has the power to kill the two of them. I just don't think he does.
I don't think he does either. I think the thing that he probably would
Liar. He's a liar.
he's a liar about that. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit off the wall here for a second
Mhm.
because what I am interested in sort of defining whatever this relationship is. So let's all steep ourselves in the lore here. And something happened way, way, way back when where it was made
Mhm.
impossible for the man in yellow to take out Jade, Tabitha, whatever their original alter egos
Yep.
are. And, he's going to have to look to the other people in the town
Yep.
in order to do this. He says, all right, so you are closer than you've ever been. Like, maybe he's lying about that too. We never really
Might
know.
be.
But if he's telling the truth on some of that, like, what is the key to figuring it out? Because it seems like Tabitha doesn't know everything. And he has this very curious line suggesting, oh, you haven't really figured out who I really am yet, or something to that effect. tinfoil hats.
Mm-hmm.
We thought all this time that the whole purpose of what was going on with Acosta was going to be tied to Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
What if she finds something in there that actually does remind Tabitha of something from Miranda a generation before, a generation before that? Because if the man in yellow is going to rely on other people to take out Jade and Tabitha, are they going to be able to then use information they learn, beat the race against time, and actually stop the man in yellow before the man in yellow can then stop them?
Yeah.
I think that's something I'm entertaining a lot heading into these final episodes, just because it gives Jade and Tabitha a little bit more agency. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it gives them a possibility that they can do something as opposed to just relying on these plans of other people, which may or may not work.
I do think that they are closer than they've ever been. Like, I think the man yells lying about some stuff,
Yeah.
but I do think that that is true. And I think that's why Sophia got to a very desperate spot that she had to go and get that suit and lure Tabitha out to the RV to try to threaten her in some way,
Yeah.
to basically be like, I could kill you at any time. No, you can't, because if you could, you would right here. There's nobody here stopping you. If she's really that close and you can kill her, then you would. I think she is closer than she's ever been. And he's hoping that the threat of doing something to her or to her kids or something like that is enough to get her to back off a little bit. But I'm really feeling like
Mm.
we know that there's a final season coming up. There's
Yeah.
not that much left, that she's just going to be motivated to make sure that she gets them out no matter what at this point. Because we had that whole big thing in the truck with Victor trying to prepare Ethan. Still no asking about the bag of teeth. So weird. I do not understand this from Tabitha at all.
Yeah.
But she ended this whole conversation with, I'm going to be here for you guys. No matter what, I am getting you out of here.
All right. Two things from this Tabitha situation. Speaking of not really understanding everything with Tabitha,
Mhm.
you let this whole thing with Victor and the dolls go on for a little bit too long. At the moment he started bringing those out and was just like, here's who you can talk to. I'm out. I'm taking Ethan. See you later, Victor.
No, that should have just been a straight no. Like, I understand
Yeah.
in the last episode when they were at the cars and he brought out the bag of teeth and Tabitha's like, okay, maybe not. My kid's a bit too young for this. Let's not be bringing out a bag of teeth. But I was surprised that she didn't say, give me the bag of teeth. I will deal with this because I'm the adult in the room here.
Yeah.
That later we're going to get to this point where she's going to be like, okay, Ethan, if you really want to know how to prepare in case you're the only, no way. If my son asked me to do this, it is Felix. I am sorry. This is not happening. Give me those bag of teeth.
The man in yellow is making a pretty big mistake here, in my opinion, doing all this with Tabitha. I mean, we've talked about this part.
He comes across as desperate.
He comes across as desperate, and he's really just pushing hard this idea of, oh, I'm going to play on everybody's worst fears. And we know that that's a part of From, and Tabitha's worst fear, obviously, is something happening to her children. And I understand that, but I think the thing the man in yellow is missing is that these children, in being there, they're already dead in a way. There's no future in this town.
That's right.
And everything with Victor that you introduced that we're talking about here, like, I think that idea of Ethan being alone, having nobody to be around him, like, that's a fate worse than death
Yeah, it
for
is.
Tabitha. And it is going to motivate her to try to connect some pieces together. And I think it's eventually going to lead to Julie actually having a story again and actually being like, oh yeah, this story walking thing that I was doing at the start of this season, maybe Randall, let's go entertain that again, because we've done nothing with it for a really long time.
That seems to be the theme of what is going on this season and truthfully throughout the show, where they bring up something that seems like it's got some legs and then it's kind of just forgotten and moved on to other things, like, oh, we're breaking down this door, oh, we've broken through the wall, and we're not going to break through this door, we'll just leave it and we'll go, now we're pulling out a tree and we're doing these other things. Oh, here's a bag of teeth, we don't need to dive any further into this, there's nothing weird about this, there's nothing that could tell us anything about anything. It feels like there's a lot of that. Oh, the bookmark, oh, this could be we're just gonna leave it.
All of this is connected to this discussion we had in the last episode about why they didn't take out some people, whether it was Kinney, with the whole bus situation or at Colony House. It's just they have so many characters, and nobody wants to see characters we love go, but
No.
at the same time, you have a cast this big, this late in the show. A part of this is creative choices where they're just abandoning stories for a while and we'll wait and see if they come back. But the other part of it is you guys just have so many people and you only have so much
Right.
time. So it's really shortchanging certain things that I think could be a lot more interesting. Like there was a lot of stuff I was looking forward to seeing Julie do. Like if there is a vessel to get the sort of lost signature episode diving deep into the past, like it could be Julie that goes there and sees it, so it's not just like some straight up flashback.
Yep.
But that's where we are coming out of From season 4, episode 8. I'm pretty excited for these next couple of episodes. I hope you guys are too. Let us know your thoughts on this episode, your theories for what is coming up, and be sure to join our memberships. As
Yeah.
Jess said, we are going to be covering their Sugar on Apple TV. It has Colin Farrell. It's a really, really
It is
great show.
good.
We have a great time covering it, and we'll see you here next time.